So when I walk into the patient's room, I see a patient who is conscious and moving his arms and legs, but he has significant trauma to his face. My first kind of thing I want to start with is assessing his airway. So I ask him to speak. He sort of gargles speak, and he has a significant amount of injury. I'm going to take a look at his mouth. Yeah, he's got a lot of injury around his mouth, so I'm certainly concerned about his airway in this case. His oxygen is currently maintaining at 96%, but I'm going to go ahead and place him on a face mask oxygen just to pre-oxygenate, because I think we are going to have to intubate this patient. And so what we're going to do, this can be a really difficult airway because we don't know if his anatomy has been distorted. So I'm going to get the most experienced people I can. If I have anesthesia on call, this might be a good case where I'm going to actually have anesthesia come help us. And I'm also going to prepare for a surgical airway because if I can't get in up through his mouth, then we need to be immediately ready to go to a surgical airway. So performing a standard surgical cric. And so we're going to use ketamine. And so we're going to get IV access with the patient. We're going to start a liter of fluid, put the patient on end-tidal CO2, and go ahead and initiate the procedure. So what is my assessment? So this was a motorcycle accident with an open-faced helmet, and he has a lot of facial injury and distortion of his airway anatomy, and he's not able to talk. So really, airway is kind of our key concern in this patient, and you do have to act early because the edema can get worse, and you can lose. You may be able to intubate the patient early, where later you may be forced to do a surgical airway. Other considerations, in any sort of trauma patient, we want to certainly consider any other type of injuries that could be relating to his abnormal vital signs, and also head injuries certainly that could be leading to difficulty talking or other changes in mental status. So my immediate goal is to secure his airway, and to do that in a thoughtful process, step-by-step process, knowing that I do have a surgical airway as a backup. So what intervention for these goals? Again, we're going to do I think it's reasonable to try to intubate, through the mouth initially, having a very clear stepwise process of knowing that we're going to go to a surgical airway if we cannot secure an oral pharyngeal airway. And then what would I look for to know my intervention is working? Vital signs improve, and I'm able to insert an airway.